We are live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys for hopping on here another week on YouTube. Just started doing this a month or two ago, and it's gone fantastic so far. So I'm going to keep doing it as long as people keep enjoying these streams. And we have a pretty good one today. We have a new swing that I've been adding. We also have um, a giveaway I'm going to be doing. Someone's going to win a free month in my trading group. So stick around for that. We'll do that towards the end. I'm also going to be watching this opening range, which is forming really, really nicely already. I do need to go and send out this link real quick. So give me a second here. And then once we get that done, we'll be ready to go. Okay. So opening range here on SPY is it's formed very, very nicely. We can draw in the low and the high. The low, I'm going to connect this lower wick on that red candle to this lower wick on that green candle, give it a little wiggle room, and that's going to be our opening range low. Beautiful. This bounce was actually very, very nice as well, which is important. When you have an opening range low form like this, you want to have a strong reaction to that low, which is exactly what we got here. So it's going to be a strong support level. And then let's do the resistance. Here's our opening range resistance. Give it a little wiggle room. Boom. Easy peasy. Now let's label them. Opening range high. And opening range low. And then we will grab a screenshot. Gorgeous. That's exactly what we want to see from a morning here. So we will get to looking at the breakout if it occurs. If it doesn't occur, I'll sit on my hands. I'm going to talk a lot about how this is the August market and how this is the pre-midterms market. So prepare for that. But if this does break out, I'm going to be more than willing to trade that break one way or the other, and then hopefully make some money with you guys. So I do have a new swing today as well. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys my new swing, which it's a small cap, or at least a small-ish cap. It's under $5 a share. I've been adding it this week. I started adding it Monday. It's been pulling back yesterday and today. I'm going to continue adding it. So you guys will get that analysis later. I do want to keep my eye on SPY right now. We also have Moderna to talk about. We have a lot to talk about today. There's going to be some good charts to look at as well. We'll do chart requests. Yeah, we're gonna do a lot of good stuff. And then at the end, obviously, we'll do that giveaway. So one person will get a free month in my trading group, which in the trading group I live trade every morning. So it's exactly like this, except it's just in my Discord. And then we talk about trades, we talk about analysis, we do all that sort of stuff. So somebody's gonna be winning a free month in there. So stick around if you guys are interested. There'll be a way that you can enter, and then I will pick somebody randomly. It's going to be like a random generator. I'm going to copy all the names from the YouTube chat, and then we're going to throw them in that random generator, roll it through, and then boom. Somebody will win. I've noticed breaks, one way or another, always seem to back test before follow through. Thoughts? So they don't always back test, but a lot of the good ones back test. So if you get a break to the upside, most of the good breakouts are going to have a pullback. It's going to confirm above that opening range, so it'll pop above and then it'll confirm and then it will continue. So it is a good thing to watch for if you're looking for the best opening range breaks. I see some familiar names. Good morning. Zickum, Double Jim. I see Jack's others question about Moderna. I will go over Moderna here probably in a few minutes, but if you want the quick summary, I think the news is fantastic. I don't see how this is going to stop today. I would not be surprised to see this continue today, see this continue honestly for the rest of 2026. I think the news that we got is probably just the start of more good news to come. It would not surprise me to hear encouraging news on more trials moving forward on Moderna. I know they have news expected on, I believe it's RCC, which is I think the most common type of kidney cancer. I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not an expert or anything like that, but I've done my reading on the trial. I've done my reading on Moderna's drug, and I think that's what's coming next. I'm not sure exactly when it's expected, but if that comes out good, we're going to have two data points that support their vaccine is useful, which two different types of cancer highly increases the likelihood that it's going to have effectiveness on multiple types of cancer. So that'll be important news, but the news today was the first of its kind. We haven't had news like that. I believe it was the first phase 3 personalized cancer vaccine with positive news. I believe. Again, don't quote me on that. I'm not reading off of anything. I'm just trying to go off the back of my head, but I believe that's what we had. So great news already. And if the news continues to flow in the positive direction, I don't see why this doesn't, shoot up to the 2020 COVID highs. Would not surprise me to see Moderna, multiple hundreds of dollars higher in 6 months. We do have an upper trend line here on SPY. Pretty clean upper trend line here. Started in pre-market. So we got this strong move pre-market, and then into the open we pulled back, and we've continued to respect this trend line. Yes, we have 4 taps on it. First one, second one, third one, and now a fourth one. So if this is able to break that upper trend line and break this opening range high, that's a lot of confluence to the upside. That's a lot of, oomph. Gives it a lot of juice. And then we'd be talking about potential upside to the areas that we saw on Monday, which would be, first off, this 773.50, and then 775 would be the next spot. So lots of upside. We're sitting about 769 right now. This would probably be about 771 once we clear the opening range high. So at least $2 of upside. And then if it's able to break this small little resistance area, we'd be talking about $4 of upside. So yeah, lots of room on that upper side. Lower side, we have a little less room considering that this is where we bounced around yesterday. So there would be the previous day low down here. So if we do break the opening range low, there is going to be another level about, let me get it drawn in here, about right there. Kind of a pain in the butt, not going to lie. Kind of a pain in the butt having yesterday's low of day right below our opening range low. So I think as of right now, I would prefer a break to the upside on this, just because we would have a lot more to work through on this lower side here. What's up? It's good to see you. It's good to see everybody in the chat. I'm excited to do a giveaway. I love doing these giveaways. It's really fun. I'm going to try to do one every week or every other week. It just gets like a new name in my trading group, which is pretty small. It's a pretty tight-knit community where we all know each other. A lot of us have traded together for, years now at this point. There's a few people that got promoted to Slappy Seniors. They've been around for most of them at least, 2-3 years. And so given a beginner trader a free spot in there, it's really, really cool to see them come in and then, introduce themselves and then usually grow as they hang out there. So I'm excited to do that. It's going to be good for somebody. This is headed down towards this opening range low here. You can see this rejection is continuing to work. Yeah. 4 minutes left. Volume is not really showing us any type of surge or anything right now, but we'll continue to monitor it. Morning, Philip. Morning, Chris. Good to see you, man. Beautiful upper trend line here, too. Let's roll through some of the large cap names that I like to keep an eye on, starting with NVIDIA. Pretty decent trend to the downside. Let's grab the 9 EMA and just see where this is sitting. So we did get 1.9 EMA rejection. We haven't retested it since, but looks pretty strong to the downside. Broke through yesterday's low and then retested it. So yeah, Nvidia looks pretty strong from a bearish perspective. Google has an opening range high and low here. Let's get those drawn in. Could always potentially trade another name. Even though I like trading SPY, I will venture out and trade something like Google if it has a good enough setup. Here's our opening range high and low on Google. It's actually about to test this opening range high. Let's check out Apple. Oh shit. All right, so Apple with the moonshot this morning. Tested the 9 EMA once, rallied off that 9 EMA, pulling back currently. Interesting. Well above yesterday's high. It actually broke it, retested it, and flipped yesterday's high into support. So Apple looks great. This looks very, very bullish. Let's check Tesla. Ooh, okay. Tesla also has an opening range high and low. Get that high drawn in. Beautiful. And then let's get this low drawn in. Beautiful. Yeah. We could probably, let's move that up to that other wick there. Gorgeous. So the main names I'm going to be watching off this list are going to be Tesla and Google. So this is Tesla. If you guys are ever wondering what ticker I'm looking at, you can look over here on the right. You can see it says Tesla right next to the price. So this is Tesla, and then this is Google. So these are going to be the two names outside of SPY that I'm watching. But obviously my main one is going to be SPY because that's the stock that I trade the most. High volume on this red candle here on SPY. So that definitely helps with this trend line rejection, the bearish thesis that is this upper trend line. Okay, so I'm going to reveal my swing to you guys just because I want to talk about it. And it is selling off again today, so there's another chance for adding entry and getting more of a position here for me personally. And so I want to talk about it while it's doing that. My new swing, if you're not in the trading group, which everyone in the trading group already knows what it is and has been seeing me talk about it the last few days, but if you're not, it is going to be TE. So this was one of the names that Boy Wonder, which what a collapse that was. If you guys have been following the saga of Leopold, then I don't even know if that's how you say his name. Leopold, whatever. If you guys have been following that, you know that he bought this earlier in 2026, and that was one of the things that caused this rally from sub $4 to $13. Crazy move. Absolutely nuts. It is fully round tripped. So this thing dropped from that 12.50, 13-ish, all the way back down to sub 4. It's bounced off of that support, and now it's sitting about $4.40. It also had earnings last week. One of the things I was watching for was if it was able to survive earnings without breaking this support level. It was able to do that. It had a medium-sized red day, but for a stock this size with this market cap, really not that bad of a sell-off after a negative earnings. You can see they missed on EPS. They did beat on revenue, but the EPS miss was a little bit worse than their revenue beat was good. The biggest thing that I'm watching here is this retest of this support level. It's headed down there. What I'm looking for is for it to hold this support level and or form a higher low. So if it bounces anywhere before this support level, that's very, very, very bullish. That would tell us that buyers are defending a higher level. That would tell us that buyers are able to step up. They're gaining ground, which is exactly what we want to see. The other thing I really like about TE is the volume that we've seen down here on this level. So we tested that support level, which the origin of this support level goes all the way back to 2024. In 2024, it was December, we rejected this 315, 320, and then we headed all the way back down to under $1. So it was a very large resistance area. And then we broke it, we retested it in 2025. So you can see breakout, retest, and then we flipped it into support. We retested it here in April. That's when Boy Wonder ended up buying it, or maybe he just talked about his buys publicly. This thing shot from that support level all the way to almost $13. Then we retested it after he imploded, basically, which if you guys have been keeping up with that, like I said, it's been wild. But when we tested that support level, we got an engulfing candle with very high volume. You can see right here. I'm going to draw a circle on there because I just want to highlight that volume. Here's our volume right there. You can see the engulfing candle. So it was larger than the previous body. It opened below the previous candle low, and then it closed above the previous candle high. And then it was able to rally, decent volume on that move to the upside. And since then, the pullback has been declining volume. That's the important part here as well. Declining volume on this pullback. The only candle that was not declining was that earnings, which we give it a little bit of a pass because it's earnings. There's going to be just some buyers and sellers doing whatever because of the earnings. They're not actually looking at the technical chart. They're not actually doing anything based on the stock or the technicals. They're just buying, selling based on the earnings. Outside of that candle, declining volume pulling back to this support level. I started adding under $5. I'm going to add all the way down here to sub 4. I feel very, very good about this. I do like the setup a lot. Like I said, higher low forming would be the best case scenario. Another really, really solid option is for it to come down, test, and we get another strong bounce off of this support level. I'm also okay with some type of liquidity sweep. If it wants to drop a little bit lower and then quickly bounce, I'm okay with that as well. I do want to give you guys a quick disclaimer. This market is going to be a little bit tough for swing trading considering we have midterms this year and it is August and September, which are historically pretty boring weak months. So, personally, I'm trading with a little bit less size than normal on this swing. And I also know that TE is a little bit riskier name, so I'm being a little bit more cautious just because of that as well. But yeah, I love TE. I think this setup is fantastic. This is a long-term key level. Started all the way back in 2024. It was tested and flipped in 2025. It was tested in 2026. And then it was just tested about a month and a half ago, or maybe even just a month ago. Yes, a month ago. It was just tested a month ago. Strong reaction. We're getting that declining volume on this pullback. That's when I like to enter these swing trades. Declining volume, showing weakness. So, yeah, TE is my new swing. I don't have anything else to say about it, but I am looking forward to grabbing the rest of my position and then watching this form a higher low or respect the support level again, and then head up, test this $6, and above $6 we have a ton of room. We're going to have an area probably about $8, and then we'd be talking about $10. So lots of upside off of this. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you don't like TE, obviously don't swing it just because I said I am. But if you guys do like the setup, then feel free to ask me any questions about it. If you guys want any clarification on anything, just let me know. So here's SPY. We are testing that upper trend line. So we're cooking with that upper trend line here. If we break that upper trend line, it would be really, really good for the bullish side of things. It would also probably give us a good or higher likelihood of breaking this opening range high. So that's going to be my main watch is a bullish trade on SPY here. I do want to go talk about Moderna, though. This thing is ripping. Oh, my God. Absolutely pumping since open. Jesus. I knew this news was fantastic. Wow. Yeah. So this thing gapped up all the way to $116. Yesterday it closed about $62 or $63. Gapped up to $116. Now it's sitting at $153, $154. Yeah. Whew. I don't have anything to say on this other than this is warranted. This is legitimate. My first message, I think, about Moderna this morning in the Discord was, let me go read it to you guys. I think this might be the first large cap 100% gap up that I think isn't enough of a move to match the news. Yeah, I stand by that. At open, this thing did not match the news. The news was, in my opinion, better than the gap up that we saw, which I guess I ended up being right. Not that I made any money on it or not that it helped me out at all, but I do think the news this morning was probably worth more than this gap up. I also have a little quote here that I saw when I was reading about Moderna here. The trial covered 1,137 melanoma patients. Those who got the shot alongside Keytruda saw the cancer come back less often than those who got Keytruda alone. No new safety problems were found. Keytruda is the current standard treatment and brought Merck $8 billion in a single quarter. The shot does not replace Keytruda, it is added on top. This is the first time anything has improved on it. That just goes to show you how important in the market that Moderna could be tapping into here. If it shows the effectiveness that it showed on this current trial with other types of cancer, we're talking the new standard treatment. We're talking the new baseline for those patients with those types of cancers. Sky is the limit for Moderna here. And if we scroll out on this chart, you guys will see the 2020 COVID highs. This thing ran up to $500. We're going to be running into some resistance. It's actually going to be a very, very strong resistance. It's going to be a pretty large resistance area as well. This is going to be probably the main area that this is going to struggle with if it continues. Sits about $170 up to $220-ish, but that level is going to be very, very tough. It's rejected it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times since 2020. So yeah, this is going to be the area I would watch on Moderna, but like I said, when you get the news about the effectiveness on other types of cancer, this thing could be $300 overnight. Could be $400 overnight. Who knows? This thing could be well over $500 by the end of 2026. I do think that the potential on this is very, very large, and I think honestly, it would not surprise me to see this through this resistance by the end of the year. Oh man, okay, we just rejected that trend line again. Trend line is still working. It's good to see. That means we drew a good one. I also have a few buddies who work in the bio space. I'm going to reach out to them and see what they think from a more educated perspective, because I can read all this stuff. I can use common logic and look at it with my very limited bio knowledge, but I'm not in the space. I'm not overly educated. So I'm going to reach out to those guys, ask them kind of what the vibe is in the bio space, if people think the drug is legitimate, and honestly what they think of the actual trial, because I'm not all that good at reading those types of results and the research papers that come with them and that sort of thing. I don't really know what the baseline is for those types of trials. I don't know if they cut any corners. I don't know how to isolate that type of stuff. So I'll reach out to those guys, see what they're seeing with Moderna, seeing if they think that the trial was a legitimate look into maybe what could possibly be the first result of its kind, or if that news is kind of, I guess, I don't know the right word. Trying to think of the right word. Overstated? I don't know. Words can be hard. Could you talk about the leverage you use for these orb trades? I'm assuming you use leverage. Otherwise, the returns are tiny. Yeah, so I trade futures. I trade ES. If you're interested, you can always paper trade futures on Webull. There is a paper trading option. You can also do a prop firm. Top Step is probably the one that I would recommend starting with. Essentially what that is you would paper trade for them, and then if you show that you can make money consistently, then they will pay you some money, some of your gains. Yeah, that's just how I trade these opening range breaks. You can also trade options on these. It's a little bit tougher in my opinion. There's going to be a lot more things that you need to learn. Greeks. There's going to be decision fatigue with all of the expiration, all of the strike prices, all those things. You need to know IV. You need to know how much it's going to move with the underlying, which comes from Greeks, blah, 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 blah. I recommend futures. I like futures a lot more than options. So if you're interested, like I said, do some Googling, check out Top Step maybe, do some paper trading, give it a shot. But that's, oh, we got a little cat appearance. What's up, girl? That's my girl cat. Want to come say hi? Indy, come here. Come say hi. See if I can get her up here. Come here. Oh, she's shy. Say hi to the camera. She doesn't like being held either, so this is like her personal hell. Can you say hi? Can you give him a meow? No? Okay. All right. There's our cameo for the day. What are the prop firms that you would recommend? Top Step would be the one that I would say to start with. That's kind of the baseline for beginners and honestly experienced people as well. Back when I did use a prop firm, I used Apex, but then Apex did the classic prop firm thing where they moved the goalposts on you, made you send in videos. They added rules to their, criteria for if you could get a payout, which all prop firms are going to do that to a degree, because I do want to talk about this. Prop firms make money on people failing. So in the end, the prop firms are going to try to make it difficult for you to make money. They're going to add hoops to jump through. They're going to add criteria that you have to hit to get a payout. Because what you're doing is you're paper trading and you're paying a certain amount to paper trade for them. And then if you make money, they're agreeing to pay you that money. They're banking on more people failing. They're banking on people paying more in those fees than they have to pay out. So they want you to fail. The good prop firms are going to have a set of rules they typically, are pretty steady with. There's going to be some changes here or there. There's going to be some updates, but good prop firms are going to keep pretty consistent. Bad prop firms are going to move those goalposts, add hoops to jump through. So that's something to watch for if you do trade with a prop firm. Yeah, nice upper trend line break here. Now we're headed for this opening range high. If it can, let's draw a path in. This is what I'm looking for. Move above the opening range high. Quick pullback. And that will be a wrap. That's going to be my entry. If we can get nice volume on this breakout, lower volume on the pullback, nice volume on this breakout, we'll be cooking. Need to grab a drink. My throat is getting killed. Woo! Spicy. Rocking the Polar Cranberry Lime today. It's spicy. Alright, I gotta let everyone know something on Twitter real quick. Okay. Let's talk Tesla and Google. So here's Tesla. It did just break above our opening range high with strong volume, and now we're getting a strong rejection to follow. The main thing to watch for here is where this current candle closes. We don't want it to be higher volume with a long upper wick. So if it were to close red like it's sitting right now with higher volume than this green candle, that's a big problem. Let's check Google. Google rejected this opening range high, which we can adjust our zone now so that it includes that other wick. So good opening range here on Google. You like to see both sides rejected 2 times. That means that your zones are drawn well. That means that you've isolated a good opening range to trade. Tesla is interesting. This is going to be one that we should definitely keep our eye on here. Also, SPY is cruising into that opening range high. Like I said, 771 is probably going to be where we get that opening range break to the upside and where we can say it's, I don't want to say confirmed, but for the most part, you're going to feel more comfortable once this sees 771. So Tesla does now have higher volume. So an upper wick red candle close pretty much kills this setup. Only 20 seconds left. Bulls have a lot of work to do here. They might be busting. Yep, does look like it's going to ruin that setup. And with it, it's going to start to ruin the SPY setup, but SPY is still intact. This could still move to the upside, break that opening range high, and give us entry. But Tesla, on the other hand, not what you want to see. That is not what you want to see. Not to say it can't work out. You know, this could head to high. This could head to 345, but it's just not a pullback that I will personally be buying. All right, SPY. I see you. I see you. Do you swing only commons or do you supplement with options? I would say 90% of the time I'm only swinging commons, and then there is a 10% of the time where I will supplement with options or only swing options, but most of the time I'm a commons heavy swing trader. Current candle looks good on SPY. This looks pretty solid. 3 minutes left. Volume needs to pick up a little bit, but we are pressing that upper side of the opening range high, which is exactly what we want to see. There's something popping up on my news feed over here. Let me read this real quick. Interesting. Not important enough to talk about. All right, so we are pressing the upper side of this opening range high. This would be our potential trade opportunity. So higher volume is what I'm going to be looking for on this flagpole, large candlestick, whatever you're wanting to call it. I also do not want to see a large upper wick, so minimal upper wick, higher volume, strong-bodied green candle. That's going to be the first box that we need to check. This also has the confluence from the trend line breakout. Trend line over here. We broke that trend line. Now we're breaking the opening range high. Yeah. And we're about to see 771. I believe we just did. Yep, there's 771. So we've pretty much checked the box on that first side. We still have 90 seconds. So hold where we're sitting for 90 seconds. And we'll be looking good. I am on the 5-minute chart, Double Jim. That's where I do almost all of my day trading, is the 5-minute chart. This looks beautiful. Everything about this looks good. Last minute. Hold up here and we will be cooking. I made banana muffins yesterday. Put chocolate chips in them. So good that I woke up in the middle of the night to eat one. 3 a.m. Woke up, deep slumber. Sat up like the Undertaker. Boom! I want a banana muffin. Went and smacked a banana muffin. Back to sleep. Underrated snack. Banana muffin, banana bread. Very underrated. Okay. This gets a thumbs up. This gets a check mark. So now we're just looking for a lower volume pullback. So now I am going to buy if we get some red on this candle, next few candles. As long as we do not see higher volume. That's going to be the key. Higher volume. Higher volume, big red X. Lower volume, check mark. Lower volume, thumbs up. I'm going to draw a buy zone now. Let's get the 9 up. This is typically how I'll do this is throw in a... So this is going to be my buy zone. Okay. Down to the 9. So I'm going to add my first little bit. right now. We can also now get rid of this black arrow. Filled my first little bit when it was red. I did not get the bottom of the candle, but I got a little bit right there. Had a limit order in. Sorry, sometimes it's a lot to manage the stream and my trading platform. If I get really quiet, it's because I'm thinking, and also trying to make sure that I'm putting my limits in the right places and watching my execution closely. So the main thing we're going to need to see here is lower volume, step 1. Step 2, we don't want this to close all the way down here by the bottom of this green zone or by the 9 EMA. Any type of large candle here, aggressive body, almost engulfing, anything like that, we start to get into a little bit of a dicier area that we don't like to see. So, lower volume, medium-sized body's fine. Where it's currently sitting is just fine as well. I would say if we were to close, down here near where my cursor's at, then I'd start to get concerned. I did just fill a second leg on this little sell-off there. It moved my average down a decent chunk. My first place I want to take profit is if this tests high a day, which right now that's sitting about 3 or 4 points above my average, give or take. Not going to be perfect, but that's kind of what it's looking like. Should probably grab a screenshot of this. Forgot to post it in my journal. I journal all my trades, and I forgot to post it in there. So, I can confidently say that as of right now, this setup is at least an 8 out of 10. Probably more like a 9 out of 10. The only knock that I have on this setup that makes it not a 10 out of 10 is the volume on this breakout was not extremely significant. That's the only knock on this setup. If we had volume that was, breaking this trend line, which we can draw in on the volume side of things, we have like a volume trend here. If it was above that volume trend, this would be a clean 10 out of 10 setup. This is at least, this is a 9 out of 10 setup for sure. And I'm also confident in saying that even if this doesn't work out, I am very happy taking this trade. If this trade fails me, if this stops out, if I end up taking a loss, I'm 100% comfortable with that because this is a top tier 9 out of 10 setup. I'm going to win this trade 6-7 times out of 10, 60-70% of the time. And so if it doesn't work out this time, I'm cool taking it tomorrow. I'm cool taking it next week. I'm cool taking it the week after. I'm cool taking it the week after. Because I know that over time, this setup is going to win more than it's going to lose. That's what my stats have shown me. That's what trading this setup hundreds and hundreds of times has shown me. So yeah, this is a great looking setup. I have limit orders in on this lower side. As of right now, everything looks good. The only thing a little bit concerning is the volume is already perking up on this current candle. So what that means is if we're going to see higher volume, we want it to be in favor of our trade. So if we get higher volume and it's a large red candle, then we would have some things to discuss. We're getting close to where I'm going to take my first bit of profit. Let me draw a line up near where I'm looking to take my profit. Let's make this red so that it does not look like my average. That's where I'm looking to take my first bit of profit. I do have some examples to show you of range breaks that I do not like to trade. Because I think there's a very, very clear break that you should trade and a very, very clear break that you should not trade. And so as soon as we get a little break in the action, I will go and show you guys those range breaks that I do not like to trade, and I'll explain why I don't like to trade them, that type of thing. So far, so good on this. Like I said, main thing we don't want to see is high volume, long upper wick, aggressive red body. Those are the things we don't want to see here. I'm gonna go. Man, I don't want to leave this. Beautiful. It's getting up here near my take profit. Did not fill me. I'm gonna move it a bit. Yeah, did not get my fill on the profit take there. High of day is getting defended a bit. We're seeing selling start to push in. Every time we get up there near that high of day, we're seeing a little bit of resistance, a little tough path. Above this area, so if we were to break above, if we were to hit my profit and then continue higher, we'd be looking at this pre-market high area as the next spot. Moving up on the last minute of the candle. If this has higher volume than this green candle here, we're going to have a problem. That's going to kind of be our main issue here. We are going to do the giveaway here in a minute or two. I want to make sure that I kind of stick to my schedule, so prepare you guys for that. One of you guys will get the free month in the trading community, trading group, Discord, whatever you want to call it. Okay. We got a similar volume candle to that previous candle. It's slightly increasing, but not enough of an increase to really cause me too much of a concern. I'm going to get ready to add my next leg as well. So right down here near this low of candle, I'm going to add my next leg. If you guys are interested in the giveaway, so if you would like to join my trading group for one free month, this is for all the people who are not in the trading group. If you'd like to join it for one free month, get a chance to check it out, see if you like it, all you have to do is go put a number 1 in the YouTube chat. Everyone who puts a number 1 in the YouTube chat, I will enter on my side of things, and then we're going to do a random generator, and one of you guys will win. Okay. Getting a nice little bounce here. Beautiful. Buyers are stepping up. The 9 is kind of right below. This is also our opening range high. So we're bouncing right off of that area, that zone. If we would have stretched this gray zone across, we're bouncing right off of that. Perfect. If you guys are just tuning in for the giveaway, throw a 1 in the YouTube chat if you're interested. I will enter you if you comment 1. This just continues to look great. It's developing even, better than it was. So, yeah, I'm still feeling very, very good about this trade. We'll see where it ends up after this candle. If we were to get like a crazy upper wick, red close, things get a little bit scarier, but as of right now, it looks pretty good. I see the 1s filing in. So, cool. I'm going to start adding those names to the generator here, and then we'll do a little spin on the wheel. Last call, guys. Last call to throw a 1. Throw a 1 in the chat if you want it, if you have not already. You don't get 2 entries, so don't try to be sneaky on me. Don't try to be sneaky on me, anybody. This is up near my profit take. It is about to fill. Boom. Beautiful. All right, so I just got my first profit. I sold half, 3 points. So now I have half a position on this white line, and we are looking for closer to this level now. That's gonna be where I'm looking for on this next little bit. Beautiful. Profitable trade. I'm also throwing a stop loss at 3 points to the downside. So I'm gonna throw another red line about 3 points. Something about right there. Not going to be exact, guys, but my stop loss is right around that red line on the lower side. What that does is it just makes sure that I don't let this trade flip red. It's a green trade currently. I've already locked in some profit. I don't want to let it turn into a red trade. So there we are. Okay, back to the giveaway. Let's get her done. Got a couple more names to add. I see a few new messages, a few new ones. Okay. Oh, we just got one. All right. We're officially closing the doors. Thank you guys for all the ones. We got a decent little number in here. I'm going to spin the wheel. I will let you guys know who wins, and all you guys have to do is DM me on Twitter. It is spinning for us. All right, we have a winner. Drum roll. The winner of the 1 free month is Brandon Bennett, 2613. That is your YouTube username. Like I said, just DM me on Twitter. I will get you your free month. You can hang out with me. You can live trade with me every morning. You can see my trade journals. You can see all the messages I send. You can see all the weekly watch lists I post every single Sunday. All that sort of stuff. So congrats, Brandon Bennett. Thank you to everyone who entered the giveaway. We'll do one in a week or two. I like doing them every couple weeks. Get a new face. Just kind of show you guys that I'm appreciative of you tuning into these. These wouldn't exist without you guys. You know, I wouldn't have this platform. I wouldn't be able to live stream on YouTube without you guys being here to support me and you guys being here to, like my posts and like these videos and just show the love. Wouldn't be possible without you guys. So Thank you. And I am hitting the sale button on a quarter of my position. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. 7 points on a quarter. So I have locked in 3/4 my position, and now I'm going to be moving my stop loss to even. Okay, so this white line is now my stop loss. We have a beautiful trade, guys. Absolutely gorgeous. Textbook. We broke the opening range. We retested the opening range, and we've continued higher. I can remove this buy zone now. I do not have any plans to add any more. We can stretch this across so that it's my opening range. High volume breakout. Lower volume pullback. Continuation. It's as good as it gets. Oh man, we've got a rerun. We've got a rerun. So Brandon Bennett is already a part of the Discord. That's all right, man. That's all right. DM me on Twitter anyway. We'll get something figured out for you. But we're gonna do a rerun. We're gonna throw this thing back in a circle. Not sure if that's the right phrase for that. It might be a little PG-13 for YouTube. We're going to use the circle again. Rephrased it. And someone new will win the free month. All right, spinning. All right, we have a new winner. Drum roll part 2. New winner is The Squirrelless, is their YouTube username. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for, showing up on my stream. The Squirrelless, DM me on Twitter. I'll get you that free month. And we're still trucking along on this trade. We're still making money. I have 1/4 my position left on this. This red line is my average and my stop loss currently. I'm going to move up my stop loss after this candle is done. I'm up about 11 points. It's beautiful trade, textbook, absolutely everything that you want to see from an opening range breakout trade. It could not get any better from a example for you guys perspective. Like I said, this is a 9 out of 10. This was as close to a 10 out of 10 as we're going to get. Higher volume on the breakout. The only thing that kept me from saying this was a 10 out of 10 was the volume was not quite higher than the trend on the day. So typically we're going to get these downtrends in volume over the morning, and today was no different. We had that downtrend in volume, and this stayed below that trend. So we never got a true volume surge above that trend. So that's what I would say causes this to be a 9 out of 10 versus 10 out of 10. I do want to give you guys a quick little look into breaks that I will not trade. So yesterday had a couple examples. We're going to do a little bit of kind of an educational period to end the day here, considering we've done everything else that we needed to do. Did the giveaway, made some damn money. I'm going to go show you guys what yesterday's breakdowns looked like and why they are not the type of breakdown that I want to trade. So let's get this all set up so that we can have a nice little educational moment to end the day. Opening range high. Opening range low. Okay. Let me make sure this looks good. Beautiful. Looks great. Okay, I want to talk to you guys about how to determine if a breakout or breakdown is not going to continue. There's a lot of traders who want to trade a resistance breakout, a support breakdown, an opening range high breakout, an opening range low breakdown. And sometimes those breakouts do not hit all the criteria we need them to hit for us to take those trades. We had two good examples yesterday on SPY. I'm going to walk you guys through them. I'm going to tell you why they would not have been trades that I would have taken. I'm going to give you the technical analysis side of things. I'm going to share with you guys the criteria that it needs to fit for me to take those trades and explain why these did not hit those criteria. So first off, we had our opening range form early in the day. Obviously, it's within the first 30 minutes. That's how the opening range works. So we had the opening range high form here. You can see upper wick, rejection, upper wick on that opening candle, rejection, and then it was respected multiple times. So it retested it multiple different times, and it rejected it. We had the opening range low form on this opening candle, and then it was respected multiple times as well. So we bounced off of it right here. We bounced off of it again right here. We trend down towards that opening range low, and then we actually break that opening range low. Right here, these three red candles, that's our breakdown. Why is it not a good trade to take? Well, the first reason is what we had on the green candle previous to the breakdown. So right before the breakdown, we had this massive lower wick form, green body. It's a textbook hammer candle. That tells you that buyers are stepping up near these lows. This lower wick formed for a reason. Buyers hit the buy button, whether it was one entity on Wall Street, whether it was multiple, whether it was retail, whoever it was, there's someone buying this down here, and they're likely buying it for a reason. The second reason why this would not have been a good trade to take, the volume on the official breakdown candle was declining and was lower. So this next candle, after we see this hammer candle here, the green lower wick I was talking about, this next candle is our official breakdown candle. It breaks below the zone and it closes below the zone. Look at the volume down here though. It's lower than this previous green candle. It is not high volume. So that tells us that that candle is not supported by volume. There's not a lot of sellers hitting the sell button. There's not a lot of market participants behind that move. It's not a legitimate move. And that's why this is not a breakout that you want to be shorting. This is not something that you want to be trading because volume does not support it. Volume has to support a breakout or a breakdown. I'm going to draw something on my chart here. It's going to be a path. So let's just say that instead of breaking to the downside, this decided to break to the upside. I'm going to give you guys exactly what I need to see in order to take a trade, the criteria. So we have this move above the opening range high. That's the exact same move that we had on this lower side, just reversed. Down here, we had a move below the opening range low. On this upper side, we would have a move above the opening range high. That first leg of the move needs to be higher volume with a strong candle. Both of those things, both of them. It can't just have one. This example on the lower side, it just had one, a strong red candle. It did not have the high volume to match. This second leg needs to have lower volume than the first leg. And the candles do not need to be strong, or they should not be strong. It needs to have both of those things. Average or lower volume and weak looking candles. That's the important part. That's going to be your entry. And that's your criteria. High volume, strong break. Lower volume, weak pullback. That's when you'll enter, and then it continues more often than it doesn't. And then we have a second break we need to talk about. So later in the day, this consolidates for a while. This breakdown earlier in the day failed for the reasons that we talked about. This heads back up into that range that we had formed, consolidates, and then it takes another shot at breaking that opening range low. Another breakdown attempt. And it was a more successful attempt. You can see here, higher volume, strong red body. So what happens? This hits the criteria for that first leg here. This first part of our move that we talked about. High volume, strong bodied, strong candle. It hits all the criteria. Thumbs up, check mark. But then what do we get on the next candle? Even higher volume on our pullback candle. What did I tell you guys? We need to have a weak candle and average or lower volume. We do not want our pullback to indicate strength. We want our pullback to indicate weakness. We want our pullback to be just that, a pause, a pullback, not significant action. High volume tells the opposite story. High volume tells us that the action is significant, that something's going on there. There's a battle going on between buyers and sellers, and that's exactly what we get here. Higher volume on that green candle right after the breakdown. So this would not have been a good pullback to enter on. And then you can see a couple candles later, pops right back up, hangs out in that zone a little bit longer. I want to repeat this to you guys. The criteria are as follows. I keep it very, very simple. High volume plus a strong move on this first part. So the breakout of the opening range high or the breakdown of the opening range low. High volume, strong candles, strength. The second part, our entry, this pullback. Lower volume, average or lower, and weak candles. We do not want large candle bodies. We do not want engulfing candles. We do not want, very strong liquidity sweep looking candles. We don't want hammer candles. We want a pullback, a very standard small candle with lower than average volume. And neither of these breakdowns fit that criteria. So that's why I would not have entered a trade, and I did not enter a trade on either of those. Now let's go talk about today's trade in relation to those two bad examples. We have the opposite today. So here's today's opening range. You can see opening range high forms right here. Rejects, forms the opening range low. We also form this upper trend line that it ends up breaking, but let's get rid of that. Makes it a little bit busy. So here's our opening range. Opening range high, opening range low. We break the opening range high with higher than average volume. You can see these previous three candles. They are much lower. So higher than average volume. And then what do we see? A strong green body paired with it. What happens next? We get that pullback. And what's the volume look like? Average. The first candle is probably lower than average. The second candle right around average. And what do the bodies look like? Weak. They're not engulfing. They don't have crazy long upper wicks. They don't have very large red bodies. So that's the entry that we're looking at. That's when I entered as well. The red line is my average. That's when I entered. This bounced right off that opening range high. Went to high of day. Broke this pre-market resistance. It's pulling back again, but nonetheless, this has been a successful trade. That's what we want to see. High volume strength, followed by lower volume weakness. That's when you enter. And then a return of the trend that started with the break. All right, that's the education that I wanted to share with you guys today. Very, very simple, but I just wanted to make sure that I got that across because I do see a lot of questions about when do I know when to buy a breakout and when do I know when to avoid a breakout. And so that is my typical philosophy and my strategy on deciding if a breakout is worth buying or not. Okay, guys. I think that's going to be it. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you drop a thumbs up before you leave. It was a great day. We did a giveaway. Successful trade. Gave you guys my TE swing. Gave you guys the thesis there. I'll be back next week. So look out for that YouTube link next Wednesday. We'll do this every single week as long as you guys keep showing up. As long as you guys keep enjoying these live trading sessions. But yeah, it's been great. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys.